Is our moon artificial? Meaning that it was created and put in place by extraterrestrials. My name is Sam. I am not a scientist like Neil deGrasse Tyson. I'm just a guy that has an interest in the topic. Now, my wife thinks I'm crazy. She started calling me QAnon, saying that I'm reading way too much into insane online articles. Now, I'll post a link to the 2 videos I reviewed. This is not something I made up. I got all the facts that I'm going to share with you from these 2 videos. So I give them all the credit. In the next few minutes, I'm going to share with you the 8 reasons why some believe the artificial moon theory. Stick around to the end to see if you agree too. Now, just to clarify, I'm going to be sharing with you evidence that points to the moon being an unnatural satellite and probably used by aliens as an observatory. I know it sounds crazy, but hear me out. Reason number 1. This was written about in ancient history. They mentioned the time before the moon, before the cataclysm, meaning the great flood. You know, with Noah and saving all the animals and all that. Now, Aristotle and Plutarch spoke of the I'll just put it underneath, all right? I can't pronounce that. Which means those that were before the moon in Greek. The Columbians said in the earliest times when the moon was not yet in the heavens. In Africa, the Zulus said the moon was placed and caused a great flood. This may have been the cause of the mitochondrial Eve. Okay, I'll put how you spell that there, right? That was about approximately 150,000 to 200,000 years ago. Now, how is it that all these civilizations are saying the same thing? Could have the moon being put in place been the cause of the great flood that wiped out most of humanity and ultimately stabilized the Earth's orbit? Reason number 2. Others have questioned this for years. In 1970, 2 Russian scientists wrote an article in Sputnik magazine called "Is the Moon the Creation of Alien Intelligence?" They proposed that the moon is an artificial satellite that was placed there years ago. And in 2006, 2 British guys wrote the book "Who Built the Moon?" They suggested that the moon is huge but has ultra-light mass, and it was likely brought here. Reason number 3. Scientific tests indicate that the moon is indeed hollow. In 1969, the Apollo 12 crew sent their lunar module crashing down onto the moon. About 40 miles from their seismic device that they placed there first, right? To their surprise, the moon rang like a bell for 40 minutes. So stunned by this, NASA tried it again on Apollo 13 with a heavier payload. This time, the seismic device was 100 miles away and it rang for 3 hours. The estimated wall, from the crust, the estimated crust of the moon is only 25 miles deep. That's it. Now, unlike other moons that orbit planets, our moon is much bigger. Our moon is approximately 25% the size of Earth, but it would take approximately 81.5 moons to equal the amount of matter that's in the Earth. See? So, because it's kind of hollow. Reason number 4, perfect symmetry. The moon covers the sun perfectly during an eclipse from the perspective of Earth. And what are the odds of that? Now, without the moon, the Earth would wobble. The moon balances out the Earth's weather too. Now, some scientists say that there are tall structures on the moon and that they're far too geometric to be natural, taller than the tallest buildings on Earth. Reason number 5, the craters all have the same depth, which is kind of weird. When astronauts attempted to drill, they couldn't make any progress. and they discovered chromium, brass, and pure titanium and mica, which are not naturally occurring elements. These are usually used for architectural design. Reason number 6, tidal lock. The moon's rotation matches its orbit so that the same side of the moon always faces the Earth. That's called tidal lock. The other side of the moon is known as the dark side of the moon. Not that it's actually dark, just that from Earth, you can't see it because literally you only see the same side of the moon all the time. Now the moon should be rotating, but instead it's in a locked orbit. This is very rare in our solar system. Satellites normally circle their planet around the equator. Our moon circles at 5%. The exact distance, elevation, and speed that allows it to cause tidal flow and seasons. Reason 7, eyewitness accounts of alien activity on the moon. Now, during the first Apollo landing on the moon, there was about 2 minutes of quiet where the audio and video was cut out. Years later, close family friends of those astronauts said that Armstrong had switched over his mic to the medic line and said that there were spacecrafts watching them. Another story, Apollo 10, when it circled around the moon, they said that they heard really weird space noises on the dark side of the moon, like the sound that we've heard by Saturn's rings, right? And NASA said that those were just radio waves intercepting the moon's magnetic field. The only problem with that is that there is no magnetic field on the moon. So what created all that noise? Now here's some quotes. The first one is from Scott Carpenter, who was part of the orbiter Mercury Atlas 7. He said, "At no time when the astronauts were in space were they alone. There was a constant surveillance by UFOs." Buzz Aldrin, he said, "There's a monolith on the moon of Mars. When people find out about that, they'll say, 'Who put that there?'" Colonel Lieutenant Ellison Onizuka, the first Japanese American in space, says he witnessed small, strange-looking creatures, humanoid in shape. They did not look of earthly origin. And finally, Edgar Mitchell. He was the 6th astronaut to walk on the moon. He said, yes, there has been ET visitation and may continue to be. Finally, guys, number 8, theories of the moon creation just don't add up. Okay, the first is called fission. A chunk of the Earth broke off and created the moon. There's no evidence of that. Second, the capture theory. Earth's gravitation captured the moon as it happened to be going by. Now, again, the moon is about a quarter the size of Earth, so that's likely not going to happen, that the gravitational pull from the Earth was strong enough to make the moon circle around it. Third is called the condensation theory. Both the Earth and the moon were created at the same time, but the moon's density is not the same, so that's probably not it. Finally, there's the collision theory. That's the most recent theory. A comet, a large comet, or a large mass, whatever it is, hit the Earth while we're still in the molten stage, like lava, and then it created the moon. However, if that did happen, the isotopes for the Earth and the moon would be different, but that's not the case. They're identical. So that's scratched off the list too. So in closing, is the moon an alien observatory? I don't know for sure, but based on the videos I saw, maybe. Comment below, let me know what you think. Till next time.